Throughout the many seasons, episodes, specials, games, and teasers of Miraculous Ladybug, we've seen hundreds of Akumatized villains, all of which have been Akumatized by Hawkmoth, and so far in Season 6, we've seen 4 villains Akumatized by Chrysalis, not counting her Akumatizations of herself in the London special. My point before we get to what you're watching this for is that Chrysalis is on a roll, and she is doing much better than Hawkmoth ever did, learning from her every move and doing everything she can to discover the heroes' identities without them finding out hers. The question I have is whether she can do what Hawkmoth never could and Akumatize Marinette, which is what the fandom has been waiting for, and while this might seem like a question with empty maybe it'll happen answers, I have reason to believe that she will. So, let's start. Marinette has been close to getting Akumatized many times, and it's sort of been a taunt for the writers to the readers, since only off of the top of my head, she almost got Akumatized in the Scarlet Moth finale, I believe, Chameleon, and Elation. But Gabriel failed every time, and Marinette rejected the Akuma or was distracted every time. However, in Season 6, it becomes clear that something bad is going to happen to Marinette. For one, there's the Quagatama scene. In the Illustrator, Tiki makes another Quagatama, but rather than it being for Marinette, it's given to Alia. Marinette tells Alia that if anything is to ever happen to her, Alia must take both the Ladybug Miraculous and the position of the Guardian of the Miraculouses, and Trix and the Fox Miraculous must go to someone else. Alia of course says yes, but she also says she hopes this won't happen because it would mean that something bad would have happened to Marinette. And Marinette directly tells her that it's just a precaution. Sure it is. This is immediately suspicious and makes it obvious that while Marinette is okay now, Alia is in the position to take over as Guardian and Ladybug Holder if something happens to Marinette, and the writers would not have included this if it didn't end up becoming something. But that's not it. Besides seeing Chrysalis learning from her mistakes and changing in the next battle, there's another common pattern in the 4 episodes we've gotten. Marinette is growing as a person. While she'd somewhat matured over Season 5, she completely returned to her Season 1 self when she began dating Adrian, but even over the 4 episodes, she's gotten much better. In the Illustrator, she's terrified that she gave out all of the Miraculouses and beats herself up for the stupidness, but after the battle with the Illustrator, she realizes how her team wouldn't let her down. Plus, throughout the episode, she keeps trying to make her and Adrian's relationship look like everyone else's, but by the end, they talk and realize that they can just be themselves. See, it truly was all about being yourself. In Sublimation, Marinette's immaturity and recklessness is what leads to Sublime's prosthetic legs breaking and her mom being Akumatized in the first place, but at the end she realizes that Sublimation wasn't the villain of the battle, she was, and she makes up for it, takes accountability, apologizes, and fixes the situation, showing maturity she hasn't really had. But this is pushed even more in the next episode, Daddy Cop, when her impulsiveness leads to Sabrina being Akumatized and Adrian getting annoyed with her, but at the end she makes up and takes accountability yet again for both situations and fixes things with both people. Now you might be wondering, why am I talking about Marinette finally maturing and becoming a better person? Well, this plays exactly into Cerise's plan to return to the school. At the end of Season 5, we see Cerise calling Principal Damocles from her hideout and requesting to join the school again, but this time she's under the disguise of Cerise Bianca rather than Lila Rossi. Principal doesn't know any of this though, and of course accepts. The reason Marinette could sniff out Lila's lies from the beginning all centered around Marinette's sorta creepy protection or possession might be a better word over Adrian. But now that she's gotten better and realized that Adrian is his own person and can be friends with whoever he wants, as well as her ability to take accountability, Cerise can take advantage of this and get in good with her. Especially since Cerise won't try crossing Marinette anymore, and if Marinette accidentally reveals her identity or goes as far as to give her Miraculous if something happens to another of the holders, then Cerise will have even more power than she has now. The very last thing I want to mention briefly is that the Quagatama Alia got has all of Marinette's memories from when she first got the Ladybug Miraculous in Season 1. Now, why would Alia need all of her memories? There's never been a character, specifically a holder, who's renounced their Miraculous and lost their memories, has there? Never. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, overall, those are my reasonings for why Marinette could possibly be Akumatized this season and maybe even have to renounce her Miraculous, and Alia would have to become the new holder, which, for one, I think is absolutely stupid of her. Like, Cat Noir has been here since the beginning and she's giving it to her friend who's known her identity for like 3 months. Like, how does this make sense? With all that aside though, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'd love it if you subscribed and maybe even possibly liked the video because you'd be really cool if you did that. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.